Welcome, friends. Welcome to this briefing on updates on West Asia developments. And I welcome all the officers on the dais. Today we have with us Ministry of Power to give us updates. So we'll begin with Power Ministry. We have with us Mr. Piyush Singh, Additional Secretary from the Ministry. Over to you, Piyush.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, as far as power sector is concerned, we have taken a very proactive approach throughout this period. And as we all know that 70%, more than 75% of the electricity is coming through thermal power plants. Through our coordinated efforts with Ministry of Coal and Ministry of Railways, we are able to ensure that all our thermal power plants are fully running with adequate coal stocks. And during this period and even before that also, we have successfully met the peak demand as well as energy requirement of the country. Our last year's peak demand was 245 gigawatt, and before that it was 250 gigawatt. And throughout this year, our energy requirement has been consistently met, although the growth in the energy requirement was only 0.8%. But in all the months of this period, we have successfully met the energy demand continuously. Besides this, I would also like to highlight that in the last 1 year, our thermal capacity, besides our thermal capacity addition, our other capacity additions have also registered a very robust growth. In last 1 year, around 64,000 megawatt of the capacity has been added, of which around 9,470 megawatt is thermal capacity, and this thermal capacity is highest in last few years. Besides this, our solar capacity and wind capacity has also been enhanced in last 1 year. Around 50,000 megawatt of solar capacity has been added, and around 6,000 megawatt of wind capacity. This is in addition to thermal capacity, and because of this high thermal capacity and other capacity additions, we were never short of the capacity requirement in last 1 year. During this crisis period also, Ministry has taken some very proactive steps, which I would like to reiterate now. The first is regarding issuance of Section 11 directions. In our country, there are around 17,000 megawatt of imported coal-based plants, and it is and to ensure that all these coal-based plants are running to their full capacity, Ministry normally issues Section 11 directions regularly. And last year also, Ministry issued Section 11 directions. Subsequent to that, those directions were withdrawn in June last year, and because of the lower imported prices of coal, most of these plants were running very successfully. However, because of certain PPA disputes, some of the plants were not running. To ensure that even that capacity remains operational, recently on 1st of April, we have issued Section 11 directions to Tata Power CGPL Mundra, and another 4,000 megawatt capacity has been added because of that. In addition to that, during this period, normally our plant goes in planned maintenance, because this is considered as relatively a period where we can put off some of the plants for maintenance purposes. However, considering the requirements and because of certain loss of gas-based capacity during this period, around we have deferred our plant maintenance for the next 3 months, and this has ensured availability of around 10,000 megawatt again for this period. Besides this, because of our strong coordination with Ministry of Coal and Indian Railways, we are able to maintain a very good stock in all our thermal power plants. Currently, the stock is around 55 million tons, which is sufficient for the next 19 days. And the supplies are very robust and continuous, and we are regularly monitoring through all the 3 ministries jointly. In addition to that, in next 3 months, we have targeted some capacities to be added. Around 22,000 megawatt capacity we are planning to add in next 3 months, of which thermal is around 3,500 megawatt, solar is around 10,000 megawatt, wind is around 2,500, and hydro is around 750. With the addition of these capacities, our availability will also go up. Besides this, there was certain loss of gas-based capacity during this period. However, I would like to mention our gas-based capacity is only 1.4% of our total requirement. And because of that, there was no major impact on the overall availability of power in the country. Around 2,400 megawatt of gas-based capacity was continuously running even during this period, which is not gas grid connected. And in addition to that, the gas grid capacity is also continuously provided wherever it is required, the gas. And recently, gas-based plants have been allowed to import their own LNG for the purpose of power generation. Recently, Torrent Power has actually imported certain quantity of gas for generation of power. So with these measures, we are able to successfully meet the demand. This is in the short term, and in long term also. For this year, we are continuously monitoring our power supply position. We are focusing on capacity addition, and we are focusing again on coal supply position. So this is all from the Ministry of Power side. Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush ji. Over to you, Sujata, for petroleum updates.
नमस्कार। जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं कि वेस्ट एशिया में इस जियोपॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन की वजह से हमारी सप्लाईज भी अफेक्ट हुई हैं, परंतु भारत सरकार ने यह प्रयत्न किया है कि आम जनता को कम से कम तकलीफ़ का सामना करना पड़े। इसी के चलते कुछ कदम भी लिए गए हैं, जैसे डोमेस्टिक कंज्यूमर्स को प्रायोरिटाइज़ किया गया है। कमर्शियल जो खासकर एलपीजी कंज्यूमर्स को थोड़ा सा कटौती करते हुए 70% गैस तक दी जा रही एलपीजी गैस दी जा रही है। हमारे एलपीजी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स के पास पर्याप्त स्टॉक है और कोई ड्राई आउट रिपोर्टेड नहीं है। इसी तरह हमारे पेट्रोल पंप पर भी पर्याप्त डीजल और पेट्रोल उपलब्ध है और वहाँ पर भी कोई ड्राई आउट रिपोर्ट नहीं हुआ है। हमारी डोमेस्टिक एलपीजी सिलेंडर की सप्लाई नॉर्मल है और ऑनलाइन बुकिंग लगभग 98% तक हो गई है। इसके अलावा 92% तक सप्लाईज हमारी ओटीपी कोड के द्वारा की जा रही हैं। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि कमर्शियल एलपीजी की सप्लाई 70% तक रेस्टोर की गई है और इसमें हॉस्पिटल, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, होटल, ढाबा, लेबर इंटेंसिव इंडस्ट्री, पैकिंग, फार्मा, माइग्रेंट लेबर सभी को प्रायोरिटी दी गई है और 14 मार्च से लगभग 1,06,000 टन कमर्शियल एलपीजी की सेल हुई है। प्रतिरोज़ लगभग 6-6,500 टन कमर्शियल एलपीजी की सेल हो रही है। 5 किलो के सिलेंडर में जैसे भारत सरकार के संज्ञान में आया कि इसको लेकर माइग्रेंट लेबर और स्टूडेंट्स को 5 किलो का सिलेंडर खरीदने में कुछ परेशानी आ रही है, तो इसके बाद कई सारे स्टेप्स लिए गए। 5 किलो के सिलेंडर की सप्लाई को डबल किया गया। इसके साथ ही यह सुगमता से प्राप्त हो, इसके लिए भी कई स्टेप लिए गए और ये इंश्योर किया गया कि 5 किलो के सिलेंडर को ख़रीदने के लिए कोई आईडी प्रूफ की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी। आईडी प्रूफ की ज़रूरत होगी, एड्रेस प्रूफ की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी। और इसके साथ ही जानकारी बढ़ाने के लिए ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज लगातार अवेयरनेस कैंप कर रही हैं। पिछले 7 दिनों में 2400 से अधिक अवेयरनेस कैंप किए जा चुके हैं। हर रोज़ लगभग 1 लाख के आसपास 5 किलो के सिलेंडर्स की सेल हो रही है। कल लगभग 1,10,000 सिलेंडर्स की सेल हुई और 23 मार्च से लगभग 11 लाख 5 किलो के सिलेंडर्स की सेल की जा चुकी है। नेचुरल गैस के संबंध में जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, यहाँ पर भी घरेलू उपयोग को प्रायोरिटाइज किया गया है। इसके अलावा जो ग्रिड पर इंडस्ट्रीज़ हैं उनको भी 80% गैस देने की बात कही गई है। अवेलेबिलिटी के आधार पर फर्टिलाइजर्स को भी 95% तक सप्लाई रेस्टोर की गई है और स्कूल, कॉलेज, कोल्ड स्टोरेज, फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री, फार्मा इत्यादि को भी 100% सप्लाई देने के लिए सीजीडीज़ को कहा गया है। आप जैसे जानते हैं कि इस मीटिंग के माध्यम से भी और अदरवाइज़ भी ऐसे लोग जो एलपीजी से पीएनजी पर शिफ्ट हो सकते हैं उनसे अपील की गई है और इससे न केवल एलपीजी पर दबाव कम होगा बल्कि एक मोर एफिशिएंट फ्यूल का ऑप्शन भी मिलेगा। मैं ये आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि पिछले लगभग 5 हफ्ते में लगभग 4,05,000 नए एलपीजी कनेक्शन गैसीफाई हुए हैं। इसके अलावा 4,41,000 नए कंज्यूमर भी रजिस्टर हुए हैं और राज्य सरकारों से, केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों की सरकारों से भी लगातार सहयोग मिल रहा है और आशा है कि पीएनजी नेटवर्क का एक्सपेंशन और तेज़ी से होगा। क्रूड की इन्वेंट्री हमारे पास सफिशेंट है। हमारी रिफाइनरीज भी ऑप्टिमम कैपेसिटी पर चल रही हैं। एलपीजी का प्रोडक्शन आप जैसा कि जानते हैं घरेलू प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज़ हुआ है एंड इट इज़ क्लोज टू 60% ऑफ आर नीड राइट नाउ। फार्मास्यूटिकल्स और पेट्रोकेमिकल इंडस्ट्रीज़ की ज़रूरतों को ध्यान में रखते हुए यहाँ पर कुछ मॉलिक्यूल्स इनको भी एलोकेट किए गए हैं और ये जो क्वांटिटी है लगभग 800 टन पर डे है। और इसमें मैं ये बताना चाहूँगी कि डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ फार्मास्यूटिकल्स ने जो अपनी प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट बनाई है उसके हिसाब से बीपीसीएल कोच्चि और मुंबई रिफाइनरी से सेल भी शुरू हुई है। घरेलू बाजार में सप्लाई को सुव्यवस्थित करने के लिए भी कई स्तर पर कदम लिए गए हैं। राज्य सरकारों से लगातार बातचीत हो रही है। सभी राज्यों में कंट्रोल रूम स्थापित हैं। जिला लेवल पर भी मॉनिटरिंग कमेटीज़ का गठन किया गया है। इसके अलावा राज्य सरकारों के साथ पीएसयू ऑफिसर्स भी लगातार निगरानी रख रहे हैं। और मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि कल भी लगभग 3,800 रेड्स हुई और लगभग 450 सिलेंडर्स सीज हुए हैं। अभी तक 950 एफआईआर रजिस्टर हो चुकी हैं और 229 लोगों को अरेस्ट भी किया गया है। हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज भी लगातार इंस्पेक्शन कर रही हैं। लगभग 2100 शो कॉज नोटिस दिए गए हैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को और लगभग 53 एलपीजी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को सस्पेंड भी किया गया है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Now we'll take updates from Shipping Ministry.
Namaskar. Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways has regularly meeting with stakeholders. As part of this process, our ministry along with Department of Commerce, CBIC and DGFT held a meeting yesterday to review the current status of the issues being faced by the stakeholders such as FIEO, CSLA, EEPEC, SEPC, APEDA and others. These are all associations and organizations of the exporters. During the meeting, exporters and their associations were requested to share their issues along with the port name where they are facing the issues. They were informed that directions have already been issued to shipping lines to extend the benefits, reliefs provided by the ports to the exporter upfront instead of processing on reimbursement basis, which we discussed yesterday also. Ports were directed to publish the details of all concession and waivers extended to the containers in the public domain so that they knows what kind of some kind of relief has been provided container wise in the public domain through their respective website to ensure greater transparency and visibility. Adequate bunker facilities are made available at all the ports in coordination with oil companies and MOPNG, and there is no shortage. There is no accumulation or crowding of containers at the port on account of port operation. I would like to add here that when this problem started on account of shipping line operations, there were some accumulation of the containers at our major ports like JNPT and Kandla. So those were not on account of port operations, but because the shipping line stopped going to Middle East, so that's why those containers got accumulated. So I have some figures like at Kandla, there were around 1575 containers. Those have reduced to around 44 today. So that is around 97% reduction. At JNPT, around 4,500 containers were there on 8th of March. So that has reduced to 394 today. So that is around 92% reduction. And similarly, reefer containers, which were 1,200 on that day, now it has reduced to 8 today. So that is 99% reduction. I would also like to inform that Honorable Minister of Port Shipping and Waterways reviewed the current situation today with all the ports and all the organizations under our Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways, and has directed all the organizations including ports and DG Shipping to take immediate measures to resolve issues that are brought to their notice by the exporters or by anyone. All Indian seafarers in the region are safe and no incident involving Indian flagged vessel has been reported in past 24 hours. At DG Shipping Control Room, in the past 24 hours, around 198 calls and 319 emails have been received. And the ministry has facilitated the safe repatriation of more than 1,927 Indian seafarers so far, including 124 in the last 24 hours. The ministry continues to coordinate with Ministry of External Affairs, Indian missions and maritime stakeholders to ensure seafarer welfare and uninterrupted maritime operations. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we take updates from Randeep ji.
Thank you, ma'am. From MES side, we also have an update for you. We are closely following developments in West Asia. We continue to reach out to countries in the Gulf region. On the directions of Prime Minister, our ministers are visiting Gulf countries to strengthen our energy security. As you know, External Affairs Minister is presently visiting Mauritius, from where he would be traveling to the UAE on 11th and 12th April 2026. He will hold discussions with leaders in the UAE to foster stronger India-EU UAE ties. Even as we work to strengthen our energy security, we are also providing support to our neighboring countries as per their request to meet their energy needs. You would have seen that we supplied 38 metric tons of petroleum products to Sri Lanka 2 weeks ago. We are finalizing a government-to-government agreement for the supply of oil and gas, which will play an important role in reinforcing energy security of Mauritius. Leaders of both countries have expressed appreciation for Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's support to them during the West Asia crisis. Let me also brief you on the visit of Minister of Petroleum. Our Minister of Petroleum is visiting, as you know, Qatar on 9th and 10th April. Presently, he is in Qatar. Qatar is an important supplier of energy to India. He has had engagements with his Qatari counterpart. A press release has also been issued on the visit, so you can look up for details there. Our minister conveyed greetings and message of solidarity and support on behalf of Prime Minister to His Highness the Amir of Qatar and to the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Qatar. Qatar Energy Minister reaffirmed Qatar's commitment to remain a reliable energy supplier and looked forward to continuing and strengthening energy relations and cooperation with India. Thank you.
Thank you. Asimji.
Good afternoon. We continue to monitor the developments in the Gulf and West Asia region. Our special control room in the ministry is operational and is working in tandem with our missions. We are in regular touch with the state governments and union territories to share information and coordinate our efforts. Our efforts remain focused on ensuring the safety, security, and welfare of the large Indian community in the region. Our missions and posts are operating round-the-clock helplines and proactively assisting our citizens. Updated advisories are being issued, including information related to local government guidelines, flight and travel situation, and consular services. Our missions remain actively engaged with the Indian community associations, organizations, professional groups, Indian companies, and other stakeholders. An update on the status of flights. Flights continue to operate from the region to India from countries where airspace is open. Since February 28th, around 843 passengers have traveled from the region to India. Airlines continue to operate limited non-scheduled commercial flights based on operational and safety considerations between India and UAE. Today, around 95 flights are expected to operate from UAE to India. Flights are operating from various airports in Saudi Arabia and Oman to different destinations in India. With the Qatar airspace partially opened, Qatar Airways is expected to operate around 8 to 10 flights to India today. Kuwait airspace remains closed. Jazeera Airways of Kuwait and Kuwait Airways continue to operate non-scheduled commercial flights from Dammam Airport of Saudi Arabia to various destinations in India. Due to the airspace closure, we continue to facilitate travel of Indian nationals from Kuwait through Saudi Arabia to India. Bahrain airspace is open. Gulf Air of Bahrain has announced that they are planning to start limited flight operations from Bahrain to India. Gulf Air is operating non-scheduled commercial flights from Dammam Airport of Saudi Arabia to various destinations in India. We continue to facilitate travel of Indian nationals from Bahrain through Saudi Arabia to India. Our embassy in Tehran has so far facilitated movement of 2,180 nationals from Iran to Armenia and Azerbaijan for onward travel to India. This includes 981 Indian students and 657 Indian fishermen. Israel airspace is partially open with restricted flight operations. We continue to facilitate travel of Indian nationals from Israel through Jordan and Egypt to India. Iraq airspace is open with restricted flight operations. We continue to facilitate travel of Indian nationals from Iraq through Jordan and Saudi Arabia to India. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we take questions. First row, 130, 194, 54, 24, 22, and 46. 62.
Ma'am, my question is for Sujata ma'am. Ma'am, the US waivers on importing crude from Russia, they expire tomorrow. How dependent are India's imports from Russia on these waivers, and what's your understanding of extension of these waivers? Thank you.
Thank you. Amar Zati from PTM. My question is to Piyush sir. You mentioned about 22,000 megawatt of capacity being added in three months, but the breakup doesn't add up. It adds up only to 17,000. 3,500 for thermal, 10,000 for solar, 2,500 for wind, and 750 for hydro. What is the where is the 5,000 remaining? And secondly, you also mentioned about gas-based power plants being impacted because of the crisis. How much amount of capacity has been shut because of the crisis? Thank you.
Regarding the first question. Okay.
Hi, Sukal from the Indian Express. A couple of questions. My first question is to Sujata ma'am. In connection with Rakesh sir's question, now we were earlier given to understand that even if the Americans had issued a waiver on Russian oil on water, we were anyway buying large quantities of Russian oil. Would it be correct to assume that even if this waiver were to expire tomorrow, we will continue with our heavy imports of Russian crude? Then a question that Mangal sir and Jaiswal sir both can take. Again, there is now some initial activity that is being reported out of the Strait of Hormuz in terms of vessels lining up now to move from the Persian Gulf into the Gulf of Oman and beyond through the path that the Iranians have said is safe and is under their regulation. Is there any update that we can get in terms of the 16 vessels, 16 India flagged vessels, as to when some of them can actually start crossing the Strait of Hormuz now? Thank you.
Second row.
तरुण शर्मा फ्रॉम सी बिजनेस. मेरा सवाल पीयूष सर से सर, पहला कि जिस तरह का वेदर है, तो आपको लग रहा है जो 271 की जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिमांड थी वो इस साल वहां तक पहुंच पाएंगे? और दूसरा सवाल कि सर जो हम अपने बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट्स को पावर सप्लाई करते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा गैस बेस्ड कैपेसिटी नहीं आ रहा है, तो क्या उन पे हमने कुछ कर्टेल किया है या जिस स्टेज पे हम थे उसी स्टेज पे हम सप्लाई कर रहे हैं? थैंक यू.
187 in the second row.
Ma'am, hello. Ma'am, I'm Akhilesh Suman from DD News. My question is to Sri Randhir Jaiswal ji. Sir, situation in Lebanon is worsening every day. So how much are you concerned about it, and what is your reaction on this?
Third row, 22, 46 to 62.
मैं जयप्रकाश हूँ दैनिक जागरण न्यूज़पेपर से. रणधीर सर से मेरा सवाल है सर, पाकिस्तान के रक्षा मंत्री ने एक अजीब सा एक ट्वीट किया था जिस पर इजराइल को लेकर, और उस पर इजराइल और अमेरिका की तरफ से बहुत ही प्रतिक्रियाएं भी आई हैं. क्या भारत सरकार को इस पर कुछ कहना है? और सुजाता मैम, पिछले कुछ हफ्तों में आपने कई बार कहा कि हमने अमेरिका, रूस और ऑस्ट्रेलिया से एलपीजी खरीदा है, तो क्या बता सकती हैं कि वो हमें सप्लाई हो गया है? क्या वो अमेरिका, रूस या ऑस्ट्रेलिया से जो हमने एलपीजी या एलएनजी खरीदा है वो आ चुका है हमारे यहाँ?
थैंक यू. मैं प्रदीप, टोटल न्यूज़ से. रणधीर सर, मेरा सवाल आपसे है कि जो हम देख रहे हैं, और ख़ास तौर से लेबनान और सीज फायर को अलग करके देखा गया, इसको पहले बयान आए अमेरिका की ओर से कि इसको अलग तरीके से देखा जाए, फिर ईरान की ओर से दबाव आया कि इसको अलग नहीं देखा जाए, वार्ता असफल हो सकती है. भारत क्या लेबनान के सीज फायर को कैसे देखता है? क्या इस सीज फायर को जो अमेरिका के साथ ईरान का हुआ है एक साथ जोड़कर देखता है या अलग देखता है? दूसरा सर, शिपिंग मंत्रालय से सवाल है सर, जो जहाज फंसे हुए हैं अभी लगातार संख्या बताई जा रही है 16, तो सर अभी प्रेजेंट में जो सीन है, क्या तेजी से जो नहीं निकल पा रहे हैं उसमें क्या तकनीकी अड़चनें आ रही हैं, और क्या ईरान का सहयोग इसमें मिल पा रहा है या नहीं?
My name is Prakash Priyadarshi. My question to you, to the Power Ministry. Sir, you had planned to develop 80,000 megawatt new thermal power plants capacity. So what is the current status? Also, how are you ensuring that states have sufficient power purchase agreements to secure sufficient power during crunch period?
We'll take the fourth row. It's 211, 142, and 51 also.
Hi everyone, this is Rishi from the Business Line. I have a question for the Power Ministry, Mr. Singh. Sir, a couple of questions. One, how much request for coal has the Power Ministry made to the Coal Ministry for this financial year? For instance, last year you made a request of 906 million tons and you consumed 813 million tons. What are the expectations for this year, considering that we might have a more power consumption because of reprioritization of various energy resources? In respect to that, a government is pushing for companies, eateries and other places to use electric cooking appliances. What is the expectation? How much more the power demand will go? Third, for the gas-based power plants, how much gas has been contracted? For instance, last year 1200 megawatts worth for gas was contracted. What is the number for this year? Thank you.
This is Rishabh Bhatnagar with NDTV Profit. One to the Power Ministry. So you mentioned 55 MT coal for the next 19 days. What is the normative stock level? Are we operating below comfort levels? Second, is there any proposal to boost the production for electric or induction-based cookers? Is that being talked about in the government? One to the Shipping Ministry also. Has any stakeholder flagged charging of toll for the passage of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz? Thanks.
My name is Aishwarya from Business Today. My question is to Sujata ma'am. One, at present, if you can talk about our, since you've been speaking of diversification, the major importers for LNG, LPG and crude, the top 5 ones, if you can update regarding that. And the other question I have is on SPR again. You know, a major state-run explorer has said that something big is about to happen in terms of SPR. Is that in works? And if there are any talks that have happened between the ministry and this the state-run OMCs about this, if there's any geography that has been identified or any proposal so far has taken place.
Yeah, hi, this is Shilpa from the Economic Times. My question is to Power Ministry. Piyush sir, in the wake of rising international coal prices supported by higher freight, how do you see that impacting the generation from imported coal-based power plants, which also contribute significantly during the peak summertime? Will Section 11 be extended to power plants other than coastal Gujarat during the peak summer demand to absorb these rise in prices? And the second is following up on what Rishi sir just asked about induction cooking. How is the government analyzing the load coming from the likely demand in the future from the electric cooking?
We'll take the answers now. We begin with you.
So, regarding the, I mean, without naming any country from where we will procure, I will like to say that we are a very big country with lot of energy needs. अगर आप हमारा पिछले साल का consumption देखें तो it is more than 24-25 crore ton of petroleum products. So that is the kind of requirement we are having, and our priority is to source the energy so that we can meet our domestic demand. That's one. Second, what kind of crude we purchase? It is driven by the technical commercial feasibility of the crude and the commercial sense it makes to our refiners. Regarding one of the question was regarding America, Russia, Australia. I will say yes, we have purchased energy from all 3 of these countries, and regarding the top importers, we will share that information with you. Thank you.
Piyush ji?
SPR, see, it's a strategic reserve, so what is the location? It cannot be disclosed in a public meeting like this. And as far as, I mean, there are very active considerations on that, and we will inform you at the right time. We will inform you. That's what I told you. That's why I told the figure, the kind of requirement of petroleum product and crude we are having, and our priorities also. Thank you. I have already given the answer. Thank you.
Piyush ji?
Regarding the breakup, which I mentioned about the capacity addition, I will just reiterate फिर से बता देता हूँ. Thermal is 3,500, solar is 10,000, wind is 2,500, battery energy storage system is 1,900, hybrid, that is solar plus wind, is around 3,461, hydro 7,750, 750, and pump storage projects 250. अगर आप इसको add up करेंगे, it is 22,361. Now regarding the impact of gas based capacity, so normally हमारी gas based capacity country में 20,000 megawatt, 20,000 में से 2,400 करीब isolated field है जो हमेशा चलती ही है, मतलब local gas पे available. Remaining हमारी gas grid connected. गैस ग्रिड कनेक्टेड में भी हमारे करीब 3 प्लांट्स ऐसे जिनको गैस रेगुलरली मिलती है, जो प्रगति पावर है भवाना में, एक ट्रॉम्बे और एक उड़न. इसके अलावा बाकी जितनी कैपेसिटी है वो एलएनजी बेस्ड थी. तो एलएनजी बेस्ड हमारी थोड़ा अफेक्ट हुई थी, और नॉर्मली समर सीजन में फॉर बैलेंसिंग लोड वी रिक्वायर अराउंड 8,000 मेगावाट. तो वो 8,000 मेगावाट हमें इस पीरियड में अवेलेबल नहीं हुई, तो उसके लिए एज ए रिप्लेसमेंट हम लोगों ने अपना जितना भी ये प्लान मेंटेनेंस है उस पीरियड में थोड़ा डिफर किया. तो उस डिफर करने से हमें करीब 10,000 मेगावाट अवेलेबल होगी. तो हमारा नॉर्मल अवेलेबिलिटी फुल रहा है, देयर इज नो शॉर्टेज. नाउ रिगार्डिंग 271 गीगावाट टारगेट, नॉर्मली हम लोग टारगेट लास्ट ईयर के एक्सपीरियंस के बेस पे तैयार करते हैं. तो जो भी हमारा इस मंथ का पीक का टारगेट है जो हमने एंटिसिपेट किया वो 271 गीगावाट है. नाउ इट डिपेंड्स कि वो पहुंचेगा कि नहीं पहुंचेगा, दैट ऑल डिपेंड्स, बट हमारी तैयारी उसको मीट करने की पूरी है. सो अभी तक हमने हर मंथ का जितना टारगेट था, बिकॉज ऑफ गुड वेदर उतना मीट नहीं, उतनी डिमांड ही नहीं पहुंची, तो हम लोग वो उस तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाया. हमारा 245 गीगावाट इस साल का हाईएस्ट गया है, बट वी आर फुल्ली गियर्ड अप टू मीट दिस 271 gigawatt. And now regarding availability, this current status of 80,000 megawatt capacity, now our target is now to 97,000 megawatt instead of 80,000 megawatt, and against that almost 44,000 megawatt is already under construction, and balance 30,000 megawatt is under bidding process. So we are on the right track for achieving this capacity by 31-32. Then regarding the request to Ministry of Coal for this year, इस ईयर हमारा अगेन वी जनरली हैव ए जनरेशन प्लानिंग स्टडी, जनरेशन प्लान रहता है हमारा, उस जनरेशन प्लान के बेसिस पर हम कोल रिक्वायरमेंट वर्कआउट करते हैं. इस साल की जो हमारी कोल रिक्वायरमेंट है वो 906 मिलियन टन ही वर्कआउट हुई है, बिकॉज अगेन इट डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ मच डिमांड एंड हाउ मच कोल वी कंज्यूम्ड इन लास्ट ईयर. तो लास्ट ईयर हमारा 874 का टारगेट था, अगेंस्ट दैट वी कंज्यूम्ड 824. This year, on an average growth rate of 7 to 8%, we have kept a target of 906 million tons. Then regarding imported coal-based plants, we have issued Section 11 directions only to CGPL, because CGPL was the only plant which was not functional. बाकी के जो plants है वो सारे continuously functional हैं. They have sufficient coal. Although there is slight increase in freight rate, but still उन्होंने पहले से चूंकि कोल लेकर रखा हुआ था, so there is no increase in the tariff of any of these plants. Regarding induction cooking, I will request my colleague, Director General B, to kindly answer.
Can we get the mic, please?
Okay, related to the induction cooking, actually the transition has started, and it is towards the cooking is expected to introduce an additional layer of the demand, that particularly during the morning and evening peak hours, and this will be seen at the distribution level, that power level. And further, this diversity is, that in usage patterns across the regions, arising from different climate zones and socio-economic conditions and cooking habits. And we are expecting that the extra additional demand would be in the range of 13 gigawatt to 27 gigawatt in a, that low and high induction cooking adoptions, because we are yet to see, and we are analyzing, and we are positioning ourselves on the proactive basis. So 13 gigawatt to 27 gigawatt. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Randhir ji?
First to Sukalp, to your question, as we've said, I don't have any specific details to share with you, but as we've said earlier, we continue to be in touch with relevant parties, including Iran and other countries, to see how best we can ensure safe exit of our transit of our ships from the Strait of Hormuz. You also asked a question about energy security as to how we are looking at securing our energy needs. On this, we have said this on several occasions, that our broad approach to energy security is to keep in mind, or the steps that we take to ensure our energy security are keeping in mind the interest of our 1.4 billion people, as also the market conditions that are available and the global situation that is there at hand. जेपी, आपका सवाल देखिए, हम लोग सबकी अपेक्षा होती है कि लोग ऐसे ओहदे पे हैं, ऐसे ओहदे पे जो बैठते हैं, उनसे हमारी अपेक्षा ये होती है कि आप गैर जिम्मेराना जैसे वक्तव्य बयान ना जारी करें। तो ये मैं कहूँगा। साथ ही साथ आपको ये बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन उस देश का बहुत पुराना इतिहास है, किस प्रकार से उन्होंने अल्पसंख्यकों को किस प्रकार से बर्ताव उनके साथ किया है, ये दुनिया के सामने जग जाहिर है। Akhilesh ji, your question regarding Lebanon. We are deeply concerned by reports of a large number of civilian casualties that have been reported in Lebanon. As a troop contributing country to the UNIFIL that is invested in Lebanon's peace and security, the direction of events is very disturbing. India has always emphasized the protection of civilians as the foremost priority. Observing international law and respecting sovereignty and territorial integrity of states is essential. Our embassy in Lebanon remains in close touch with the Indian community for the safety and security. And just for information, we have around 1,000 Indian nationals in Lebanon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you, officers. Thank you all.